They told us not to go, that Europe was dangerous, full of pickpockets, terrorists, and unfiltered tap water. So I went anyway, and guess what? I survived. Shocking. I know. If you ever tried to go on a school trip to Europe from the US, you probably know they load you up with fear. Don't drink the water, never walk alone, hide your money in your shoe, or better yet, just stay home. It's like the second you land in France, someone's gonna slip a blindfold on you. Thing. American culture is obsessed with danger, especially foreign danger. We grew up on this stranger danger, lockdown drills, and news about that makes Europe sound like it's a war zone. Movies, TV shows, every time you see a protest, it's like Europe is on fire. Even teachers, sometimes pass it on without even realizing they're just repeating the same crap that they were taught. That the US is the safest, freshest, most exceptional place in the world. And everything else, you should be suspicious. Let's be honest. You know if that's scarier than a train ride in Germany? Some of those lockdown drills we had in case someone might attack the school. That was kind of tricky, right? Here's what actually happened in Europe so far. I took a public train ride. I didn't get stabbed. Um, I drank the tap water. I didn't die or get any other form of sickness. I'm fine. I walked around at night, and be honest with you, walking around at night in Germany is sometimes a lot safer than walking around in the daytime in a city like Detroit or Los Angeles if you go down certain neighborhoods. I have not came across a street yet in Germany where I feel like, uh-oh, I need to get away from here. I need to run fast. Or seen someone walk around with a big, thick jacket, even though it's summertime, and you wonder, why is he wearing these type of clothes even it's hot? And that was in California. But I have yet to really see that in Germany. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, but so far, I have. Now, what I did see, the people were nice, the people were chill, sometimes a little bit rude. But so far as danger and bad experiences, I've yet to find any. Now, here's the scary part that no one would ever want to say out loud. They're not just scared of people going to Europe as being dangerous. They're afraid of people learning too much as well. Sounds a bit dramatic, right? But think about it. The same people that tell you don't go to Europe, you might get attacked in Europe, are often the same people that say don't go to college. It's too liberal. They'll brainwash you. You'll come back hating America. They're going to teach you all these liberal ideologies and you're just not safe. Now, I'm not advocating for everyone to go to university because it's kind of expensive. That's for another story. But the point that I'm getting at is that how they try to use fear and tell you that the universities are too liberal. But the truth is, I don't think universities do brainwash the kids. What I find to be true is just that universities normally open your eyes up to a lot more experiences that you did not have when you lived in that small town of just 200 people. It just gives you, for the first time, your first taste of freedom. And for a lot of kids, they don't know how to handle it. Now, let me just tell you a side story. I had a girl come up to me when I was in university. This was in 2005, but I think it still happens. She came up to me and she had a conversation with me. She was nice and she said, Justin, you know what? You're the first black person I had a conversation with. And I looked at her like, huh, really? And I kind of smiled, didn't want to throw her off. I'm thinking, how old are you? And you never actually had a conversation with a black person? Huh, that threw me off a little bit. But the truth is that most of these people have been giving fear lessons their whole lives and they just pass it on. That's why I think a lot of time cops are also afraid of black people in America. It's because, well, there are some bad parts of the area, but a lot of times it's just what they've been taught. You've been taught to be afraid of someone different. And once you go to university, a lot of times that's when these children have their first open eye experience. It's someone like the Amish in America, right? They live in these small communities, no technology, no electricity, and then they're given that 1 year to go out into the world and have their experiences. And some of the kids just go crazy. They go wild. You see, you hear stories about it. Some of them still do return back home to their old Amish life. But then there's others like, once I have my eyes open, I can never go back. And that's what it is in university a lot of times, that these children that have been sheltered, that have been put fear upon them, the fear mongers have had control over them. Once they get their eyes opened up by going to universities or going to another part of the world and start to realize, wow, it's really like that? I can't believe it. When a kid from a small insulated town, suddenly meets people from another country, from another world, their learns world history, started traveling abroad, it breaks the spell. And then they start asking questions like, wait, if they lied about Europe, what else have they been lying about? Why do we pay so much for healthcare? Why are universities so expensive? Why was I told this version of history? And that curiosity that opens, it scares people. It scares people who have built up this fear control their whole life because they don't know the answer to these questions. And same thing when I talk to Americans back home after they say, you've been brainwashed. You don't know what you're talking about. Ah, here you are starting up this European socialism crowd. This is what they tell me. I'm like, guys, you know me. You grew up with me. I'm not just trying to tell you some crap. I'm trying to tell you something. Just listen. But they already have in their head that I'm a snake charmer. I'm trying to tell them some bull crap. I'm trying to sell ice to a penguin. See, once that bubble pops, you can't go open. Once what they say, once you have opened up Pandora's box, you cannot close it again. And that scares a lot of people. Now, I can't put on the parents. A lot of times the parents are just doing what helped them get by. A lot of times it's fear and scare techniques that normally keep people safe. At the end of the day, a lot of times we just want to keep people safe. But there are the other people that really just want you to think that America is the best country in the world, which, hey, I'm a proud American as well. But it's not perfect. Just like Europe is not perfect. The goal is that we can learn from each other and get the best from each world. But if we keep preventing people from experiencing or tasting something else, how can they truly know if they love what they're really experiencing? Hey, I know a lot of people that have gone to Europe, came to visit Europe, and realized, man, America is the best country they ever lived in. They just didn't like Europe. But I know other people that came to Europe and realized, oh, there are some good things. Or went to China and realized, oh wow, China technology unbelievable. I mean, look at the CEO of Ford. CEO of Ford Motor Company. Ford is American-made cars, right? And I believe I read a story where the CEO of Ford was driving around in a Chinese-made car. And every time he has an interview and I read a story, he's always bragging about how far advanced the Chinese cars are. I mean, he he can't stop talking about it. And he is in charge of another car company and talking about other cars. That's crazy. See, it's everybody. Everybody. Once you get your mind exposed to something and you can realize, wow, that's actually really good. We got to catch up. We are being held back. And sometimes that happens. I'm not saying Europe is perfect. No, not at all. But when the, but when American schools act like the rest of the world is just a piece of then I have to talk about that. That's not in education. That's indoctrination. I can't even say it. That is not education. That is indoctrination, right? And maybe the real reason that they don't want us to travel to Europe or thinking for ourselves. And because once you do, you start to see how small your world really is or really was. So you go, study abroad, eat strange food, take a train ride, try these experiences. I can only recommend it. And truly, once you have done those things, then you can either find out, you know what, my country is not the best. We need to get it better. Or you might even realize that, you know what they told me was 100% right. I love America, but you will never know until you try. And my goal is, I just want you to try it. Because here's the thing, the world is not as scary as they told you. Well, but here's the thing, the world is not as scary as they told you. Being afraid to do something, that's scary. And that's with anything. What are you afraid of computers? Try it out. If you're afraid to drive, try. We have to get over our fears. If anything this video is going to teach me is just a PSA. Don't let fear stop you from trying something new. Don't. Try it out. You might find that you might love it. You're probably holding yourself back from a lot of great experiences. And like I said, I'm not saying your parents tried to do you wrong. Your parents try, and they try to protect us from everything. But sometimes parents can also be the ones that are actually holding us back from their own fears. They're putting their fears on the children. And then the children turn around and put their fears on their children and on their children. And you're trying to keep your people safe, but there are times when your fears can actually hold someone else back. I love America. I would never stop loving America. But there's some things that I think America can do better. I love Europe. I have grown to love Europe as much as I love America. But I realize there's some things I wish Europe would do like America. But this education part of just causing people to be afraid of stuff, that's not it. I think it needs to change. If you please, if you have any interesting stories that fit this storyline, please tag a friend that you think is afraid, that needs to travel. Comment on some weird things that you've probably been told by your family, friends, or even in school. I'm in with this story. I remember my textbook, and I think it was fifth grade. And I remember this story vivid. And I remember he had the section of socialism and communism was basically the same chapter. And I vividly remember seeing a store, I think in the Soviet Union, don't know which part, but it's part of the Soviet Union, and it showed long lines. And it showed how destitute that living in the communism world was. And at the time, maybe the book didn't try to, but I feel like it did now, because they put communism and socialism in the same chapter, in the same lesson. It was hard for me at this age to really divide the two. And I don't think it's just me. I think a lot of times when you look at, when people start talking about socialistic ideals, you say socialism, then someone else is going to say communism. And they put these words together. So it wasn't just me that fell for that hokey doke. A lot of people have. And that goes with that. Now, I'm just repeating this because that was in my fifth grade textbook. And I know how the history books are constantly being changed. Things are being taken out. Things are being held off. America somehow is always the greatest in every form. And when we did do wrong, we found a way to justify the reasoning behind it. That's a whole nother video. But Germany and Europe, for the most part, don't do it like that. Hey, we got to get out. So with that being said, please like, subscribe, comment, tell me your stories. If you know anyone or if you heard anything, I would love to do a follow-up video about this topic. With that, peace.